A middle school is being terrorized by MS-13. It's called William Wirt Middle School. It's in Riverdale, Maryland. And it's one of many whose makeup has been changed entirely and almost overnight by mass settlement of unaccompanied minors entering this country from Latin America. Now, according to the Washington Post, MS-13 members in the school start fights, sell drugs, rape fellow students. Teachers say they fear being alone with a lot of these kids. They also fear saying anything about it because speaking out could cost them their jobs. It's a tragedy that can be traced almost entirely to U.S. immigration policy, but elites don't seem to care at all and, in fact, crush any conversation about it by screaming, "Racist!" Needless to say, their kids will never attend William Wirt Middle School or anything even approaching it. Jose Aristimuño is a former DNC press secretary, and he joins us tonight. Jose, thank you for coming on.
Good to be with you.
What I found ironic about this story was this is this kind of third iteration of the MS-13 story. First, we were told they don't really exist. It's a figment of your racist imagination. Then we were told to attack them and call them names is immoral because they're good people. Okay. And now we have the Washington Post telling us in detail about how they've destroyed this middle school and are terrorizing the students. Are we allowed to acknowledge that, or are we bigots for doing so?
Well, no, let me start by saying this. If you're undocumented in this country, if you're a criminal, including being a member of MS-13, we don't want you in this country and you should be deported. Part of the issue here, Tucker, is that people like yourself and some Republicans want to pinpoint and just simply say because your first name Jose or you're Latino like me, I'm automatically an MS-13 gang member. And that is not true. A majority of immigrants in this country are good serving people.
Stop. You're a ridiculous person for saying that. I've never suggested anything like that. It's appalling that you would say that. I don't think that, and I've never suggested it.
I will speak the truth.
You're speaking a lie, and not for the first time. What I said is what I read in the Washington Post, which is self-identified gang members are destroying the school and terrorizing people. I bet you don't have kids at that school. I bet you never send your kids to that school. But you've got no problem with those people being in this country because it fits some sort of demographic plan that you approve of.
No, that is not true.
The truth is it's a disaster.
That is not true. I just said it. If you're an MS-13 gang member, if you're undocumented, you should be deported. A majority of people who are
undocumented. No. Then why have you consistently attacked anybody? No, yeah, right. Nobody has said that the majority of immigrants are criminals or bad. I'm not saying that. I don't think it. What I am saying is that we don't know the identity of people coming. He has not said that. You're lying for political gain, as always. What I have said, and what I think many normal people have said, is that we don't know who's coming into this country. We don't know anything about them. There are 20 million of them living here. We don't know their identities, their backgrounds.
I got an idea for you.
And some of them are bad people.
Okay, so you know what we do? Let me tell you what we do. We pass comprehensive immigration reform. We legalize a majority of people. It would be a whole lot easier, Tucker, to actually look for the real criminals if we legalize the good ones. Don't you think so?
How would, yeah. I mean, it's hilarious that solution comports exactly with your political goal, which is to create more Democratic voters.
Oh my goodness, give me a break. That's not, no.
But you
really?
tell me rationally how, if illegal immigration, the inability of the U.S. government to know who's living within its borders is the problem, how encouraging more of it, which is what amnesty would do, is the solution. There's no logical answer to that because this is not something you're interested in solving.
Okay, so your answer, and to many Republicans' answer, is to deport the 14 million illegal immigrants and undocumented immigrants in this country. That's your solution.
So we're guessing at that number. Some people think it's 20 million.
Okay,
I think
20 million, 14 million. What do we do?
When wage growth has been stagnant, and the cost of everything is growing much faster than the growth in wages, you need to stop the ability of employers to hire cheaper people because they're here illegally. We need to make E-Verify mandatory.
We deport them or we keep them here.
Hire people here illegally. No. Look, if you bothered to learn anything about this subject, if you took it seriously, we're bigger than a political issue,
I take it very seriously.
No, you don't know nothing about it. Then you would find
I am telling you that we have a choice to make us Americans.
About it.
I know more than you.
Then why should an employer? You know nothing. You know nothing.
I know more than you.
Why would an employer in this country be allowed to hire someone illegally, depressing wages for American citizens?
You want to fix that? You want to fix that problem? We reform the system. We legalize the people that are already here.
You could do
That's what we do.
Legalize it. No, you could do it tomorrow. Why should employers be allowed to hire illegal aliens? choices.
I'm going to say it again.
Look right in the camera and tell me why they should be allowed to do that.
We got two choices here, Tucker. We got two choices. We deport the 14 million or 20 million, whatever number, or we legalize them.
This is just
we put them in a path to citizenship so we can actually get them out of the shadow. No, we get them out of the shadow.
I don't have time for conversations with people who don't know what they're talking about and haven't thought it through and want to come on and spew more talking points and call anybody who disagrees a racist, which is what you did in the very first sentence of this segment.
Because that's what you guys have done from the very beginning.
Yeah, you're pathetic. Bill Clinton was one of the savviest politicians in American history, but he can't stop destroying himself with his own mouth. Hilarious what he has said recently. We've got the tape for you. Thank you. We'll be right back. Bill Clinton's on a roll recently, you may have noticed. In a recent interview with PBS, Clinton pointed out that it's a lot harder to sexually harass people these days than it used to be back then. And of course, he would know. Watch.
I think the norms have really changed in terms of what you can do to somebody against their will, how much you can crowd their space, make them miserable at work.
Tammy Bruce is a New York radio show host, and she joins us. You know, Tammy, the norms have really changed about what you can do to someone against his will.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah,
it's very
it sounds
different
like,
now. You used to be able to do a lot of things against people's will.
Hillary may be sharing the Chardonnay with her husband. I'm not quite sure.
So
this is what most people have of course, remarked on, is that for Bill Clinton, it was normal to do things to people against their will. But this is a newsflash from Mr. Clinton. Unless you were back in maybe the Bronze Age, maybe not even then, in modern life here in America, the American Revolution kind of made it that everybody had some rights, and then we became a better country. And the good news is, in the recent modern era, we've learned that you can't do anything to people against their will. It's the concept, of course, of law and order. So we've managed to achieve that, and it was applied when he was president. Apparently he wasn't aware of that. But it tells you, and I think this is what's revealing about Bill Clinton, it's what's termed as the compulsion to confess, is that in his time, that you could do whatever you wanted. But the fact is, they knew then that they really couldn't. The difference was that they got away with it, and they protected each other. And I think for both he and his wife, they want that era back. They want the times back, the good old days, when in fact they could do whatever they wanted. And I think it's probably was much more comfortable and controlled for very few at the top. It's very nerve-wracking for individuals who cultivated that era to have this populism arise, where the American people, women and people of color and gays, everybody who's been a minority in power or in life, actually, because of new media and because of the populism now that's moving, is that we want the Constitution to be clear. We want rights. We want to be safe in our lives. We still want that conservative ideal. A lot of people don't realize it's a conservative ideal, to live lives that best suit us without being attacked and without needing to deal with people like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Clinton.
I think that's exactly right. And it has been at least the Bronze Age since people were allowed to do whatever they wanted against someone else's will.
That's, the pulling by someone's hair is kind of, Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not a modern thing.
No.
So you may have seen the rant at the Tony Awards by actor Robert De Niro, who followed up by apologizing to Canada for the American president. Here's part of what he said.
And I just want to make a note of apology for the idiotic behavior of my president. It's a disgrace. And I apologize to